Hello and welcome to my video on the 75304 Darth Vader's helmet. So in this video I'll be doing an in-depth look at the set. I have some different opinions about it, which I'll talk about later in the video. If you do enjoy the video, please subscribe because I'll be doing more of these in the future. So the box art is what we're going to start off with, and I quite like it. So the front of the box you have the helmet with a nice faded background. I would have preferred them to do it in blue. They done it on blue in the back of the box and it looks nicer, but it does look to be really nice box art. You have the Lego logo and then Star Wars logo at the bottom, which are split up, which is different from the normal box art. And then on the top it says Darth Vader, and then on the top of the box is kind of hard to see, but there's a weird, I think it's a new piece. It's easier to see from the back angle of the box. But anyway, on the side of the box you have it the helmet facing straight forward, and it says Helmet Collection. So as you can see on the back of the box, you can kind of see the piece slightly better, and it's 6 long, but then it goes out one stud at the end, so I think it might be a new piece. And then on the side of the box it says Darth Vader. So the Scout Trooper one said something Trooper Explored something, and I think that is something that the official name. And so the back of the box is pretty good, and it has a picture of Darth Vader pointing at the camera, which I think might be an off scene. I don't remember that part of the movie. And then you have another picture of Darth Vader, and then the helmet's height, which is 20 centimeters or 8 inches, which is not a bad height. It's quite reasonable. I think it's similar to the past ones, but it is $70 of pounds. The value is there. I think it's got a lot more pieces. I think some people say the helmets aren't really in value, but I think if the inside of them, there's rarely any gaps. I'll show you the building image in a couple minutes. But now on to the other image. This image, you see what all you get. So you get a brick separator in the teal color, I believe is what they call it. And then this is I think this is kind of their main image, because it's kind of the one that shows the whole thing. And then so you have this image which removes the box. And then, so for the past ones, because I did them before, better images, that is this one, and it has nicer lighting. So we have a bunch of different angles of it. So this is a one that I quite like. The angle shows slightly under the side. So if you look at the side bit, the angles are the flap. You kind of see a Technic beam, and it's kind of connected with a darker grey piece, because I don't think they do that piece in black. So I think that is a mistake on the set. Well, not a mistake, but something they could have done better. But I think face on it might not look perfect as well. But the set really looks really nice, because you've got his triangle mouth bit. The bit underneath it I don't like. It just looks like it's kind of loosely attached. But then the top of it's really nicely done. It's all studded, which is something I think Lego should keep doing, because it makes it look like it's Lego, not just an actual statue of it. And it looks really nice. I think the sides are done at a nice angle. You can see the way they're clipped on there to the top. And then I do like the curves over, what I consider to be the eyebrow area over the eyes, and it looks really nice. And it is, the bit between the eyes is slightly annoying, because I wish Lego did that piece without the grill, just it being a flat 2x1, which has the sloped angle at it, but they don't, which is slightly disappointing. But anyway, so this angle shows you the better of the flap, and I think it's got 2 flaps. So there's one on the back and one on the side, and it looks quite nice. It does show it's shadowed over the bit that I don't like, but this angle is basically, it's a nice angle, but also it shows the set from kind of similar. You can also see different pieces used on the side of the set. And then the front on. Actually the set looks quite nice, because there's nothing drastically bad behind, at the very back of the helmet. There seems to be a gap, but that's kind of to be expected, and it doesn't look bad. My criticism, it doesn't actually look bad from this angle, but the neck is my main criticism of the set, because it's got a stand, but it's also got a neck and the top of his chest, which just annoys me, because there should be a stand and then no chest. It's what replaces it. So it doesn't look bad from this angle. This angle is slightly more noticeable, and then this is the angle that I think it looks worst from, but I'm not sure, but I quite don't like it. I think it doesn't need to be there, and I think that's maybe a criticism, value wise, they just added that in to get a few extra pieces, and that might be Well, it's good value, but it's still not necessary. I think if they'd remove that, it would just look nicer on the stand. And yeah, the stand doesn't connect with it well from all the angles, because it's kind of just like it covers up and then it just slopes from underneath. It doesn't look brilliant. But then compare it to the bust. I think this was a Comic Con exclusive, and it does. The helmet bit looks nicer by a lot. But then the neck bit, you can see, because this one got the neck, but it doesn't have like a statue bit underneath it. It's just a bust, so it includes the top part of it, and it looks better. But this one just looks slightly off, and I think that is something Lego shouldn't have done. But that's my opinion. Compare it to the real Lego figure, and this is like the one I think is hardest to do, because this doesn't have curves. This is nicely curved, but this one's more detailed. But yeah, the flat bits there, like you see the kind of triangles, so you've got the front like lines, and then you've got like two triangles on either side. Those bits don't look nice to me, because they don't look very triangular, which is I think something Lego should have aimed for, and it's something I think they've messed up on. And I think that's something they should improve on in the future, but it looks nice. The stripe is slightly more noticeable, like down the top of his helmet, and I really like the way it looks, because it's smoothed off to make it look different from the rest of it, so it stands out more, meaning it looks like it's there, and it kind of, yeah. It also, if you kind of look down, it draws your attention towards the main bust of it, and it does look, like all the angles of the images look quite nice at this set, and I will be releasing a video, it should come out in the next couple of days, of like all the images of all the sets, just so then you can see them all. And I think the all the angles of this set don't look bad, and they all look nice, other than the neck. That is just something Lego did, and I will keep criticizing it. The actual helmet you can see, is much more curved, and the neck doesn't even look right to me. It just off. Well, I'll just skip over that. Anyway, the bottom part actually looks alright. It's just there's a few bits they could have done better. I think the beams actually are decent. It's just where they're connected, and the eyes are less curved. I think Lego could have done it better. I think maybe had they made it slightly bigger, removed the neck, kept it, maybe even upped the price. But I think the problem is if they upped the price, it'd be too expensive. It probably wouldn't sell as well, so they'd probably have to compromise a bit of the design, because Lego works towards their price points. That's probably why it doesn't look as good as it could. And I think that's just something that probably I don't know. It's just, the set looks nice, but it's partly inaccurate. But I have to also consider, it does look good, it's just inaccurate. So it's like not as big a deal, because it still looks good. And you can see behind the helmet on this, there's nothing there, and Lego has done that. So there's like nothing sticking out as well. It's just a curve, which looks nice. But so on to this image, which is it being looked at, and they did a lot of images of this time. They normally don't do as many, I think, with like on the tables and shelves and stuff. And the instruction manual does look to be quite big. I'm slightly surprised by that. I'm guessing it's quite a complex build. And then this image as well. So this is the box. They've just kind of gone quite crazy with these. They've done a lot of them. But anyway, and that's like the back panel. You can see slightly it's out of focus in the image, which I wish they put it in focus. But anyway, it does look to be nice. It also has the stripe continued down it. And they've just kind of got a couple bits disconnected. And yeah, they've just kind of, yeah. There's a lot of these images, they're not all necessary. This is one that shows like the inner side. And as you can see, it's fairly filled to the brim. There's not like a bunch of pieces missing. It is filled to the brim. And then this image. So one thing I think is slightly critical of Lego is they always sort the pieces for the adult set, and then they don't sort them for the kids sets. And I think it looks better when they're all spread out. But this also shows like something Lego likes to do in like a build that's mainly one color. They like to put like randomly colored pieces. They mentioned that in an interview. And it does look, there's like a lavender piece and a bunch of tan and blue and orange in it. I don't think it would look that bad. I think it supposedly improves the build experience, and I'm guessing that probably works. I don't mind it that much. It doesn't take away from it, so I'm guessing that's alright. And this is it on the shelf. It looks to be a displayable model. I think it would be noticeable. And I think that's something Lego have done. They've put like non-noticeable items next to it to make it more noticeable. But anyway, and there's it on a different type of shelf next to a mug. Yeah, I think that like a mug is not a noticeable item, whereas your helmet probably draw the eye to it, and I think that's kind of the idea of the way they've displayed them. But anyway, I do hope you have enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.